Alright guys, this is Dylan with Checkmate Vanguard. We're here with Alex. Alex is here as our local Murakumo rep. He plays Murakumo pretty diehard, so hopefully he can teach us some things about how to play deck correctly, as well as other texts and other things you can try.
First deck I ever got into Vanguard was Kumo, so.
He pretty holds it closely, so he has some good things to say. Alright, Alex, start up.
Alright, so of course, starter. I'm going to sell two, yeah. Alright, let's get into the triggers first. So, we're playing 6 draw here. 4 draw PGs, of course. And we're also going to play 6 crit. Now, we're playing Shirayuki here, so you want to run crit instead of fronts. And then you're going to play 4 heal, of course. No shenanigans with a bunch of extra crits or anything.
What you see is what you're going to get.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, and now for the grade 1s, we only play 8. We're playing 4 of the grade 3 Searcher.
Gotta play 4.
Yeah. You play so many grade 3s in deck that this card is actually... It's very plus, especially if the discards work in your favor. And then 4 Takahime. Gotta play this in Yasuie.
Consistency, more consistency. You just need as much consistency.
And like I said, we're playing Shirayuki, so we're playing Forge Koto. Gets you Soul, gets you Shirayuki, can even walk sack and get the double Shirayuki play, where you add one to hand, put the other in drop. That's pretty good. A lot of deck thing as well. And then for Wazu, this card is MVP of the deck, honestly. And this becomes any card in your deck. And then the one of Midori Pyro. This card's pretty decent. I wouldn't play more than 1 though.
This can be sub for any other grade 2 or
you can
grade 3 you
play
want to try.
grade 2, grade 1. This is your flex spot, honestly. Now into the main meat for Yasuie. Now, this card...
You have to ride that first. You have to.
If you don't see this, you lose. Simple as that.
Most of the night you did see him first, obviously, and that carried you that far. So.
Definitely.
Yep.
Then 4 Tenma. Some people play 3, but honestly 4 is both power, consistency, and numbers. So, both very good. Now, like I said, 4 Shirayuki. Think of this card as 30k shield or a half a front trigger. I was able on the round 4 game of my locals this week to quadruple use this in minus 20k. Think of that as a double front.
That doesn't normally always happen, but
of course not. Like you'll usually use 2 in a big push, or maybe even 3. But ideally, this card is like a front.
If you can combo her with Tenma, it's very good.
And then last of all, for Nido, you want to play this in any Yasuie build. Gets you soul, gets you draws, gets you power.
Feels Shirayuki. Yep.
Very good.
Okay, so let's run back. We're going to talk about a few things in the deck and some tech spots and other things, so we'll wind it back here. So right. Go back to Nido's.
Yeah.
So there's no other reason why not to run 4, obviously, for soul and drawing and all that. And those draws really do come in handy mid to late game, of course. As well as you're able to copy them with Yasuie Tenma, call them back out, and just keep feeding your soul and keep feeding draws.
Yeah.
So
especially in games where you want to damage down your opponent, you want to keep looping these as much as possible, because that gets you more draws. It's free, basically. You get more draws. You don't have to attack with it. Just put them on the board, end of turn, just soul them in.
12k booster.
You want to keep at least 1 on the field if you're doing that, though, and be wary if your opponent's playing board removal.
Okay. So we don't need to talk about Yasue's. You got round 4. No questions. Shirayuki, I guess we can do something real quick on. So the greatest thing about it is not only it's defensive, but it's also offensive, like you were mentioning how you can do quadruple and in the wildest of scenarios.
A big part of Shirayuki in the past was her minus 30k of the field. Powers have gotten a lot bigger, so it's not too important anymore to use her defensively, but she is an option. That's why you play 16 grade 3s, because it technically is shield if you think about it. Doesn't mean you lose on bricking like tons of grade 3s and have no shield or anything. So that's an option, but like I said before, your main use of this is for your big pushes. Like, all right, say I use Yasui on my first grade 3 ride. Alright, get my 2 Excel markers with the Tenma. Next grade 3 ride, I re-ride another Yasui, hopefully. And then what I'm able to do with all those Excel markers is just build a huge front line. And then just be able to give it extra hitting power with these Yukis.
Okay. So that's all that needs to be said about the 3s. Let's go back to 2s real quick. You said a Wazoo is like the unsung hero of this deck. What does it do again?
Alright, this card sends any card from your deck to drop zone, and then it copies its name, which can both give you extra name for the Nudo. It can set up your Yasui play so you can get any card that you want. And
it's just affect the name. That's it. That's a law of the matter at the end of the day. Like you said, you can send a Nudo off of it. It counts as a name, right? And so therefore you can
There's also a lot of other things you can do with different builds. If you're not playing Yuki, you can play Spellhound. You can copy Spellhound. Summon the copy from drop and then get another copy from deck, especially if you use Takehime during the battle step to do it. Gets you 2 extra attacks instead of the normal 1.
Okay.
There's a lot of cool combos you can do with this card.
Okay. Grade 2s. Was there any other grade 2s that you would say? No. Just Jakotsu Girl just adds Shirayuki at the end of the day or soul charges. So.
And then
grade 1s. Let's talk about
Takehime.
Yes, she is very important to this deck.
So
especially for late game push.
When you're late game pushing, you want to have at least 1. Even 2 is pretty good, but you want to save your big counterblast pushes for Takehime.
Because there's no counter charges in this deck.
No, there is no counter.
You gotta be very conscious of that.
So your only counterblast is from damage, and then, like I said, this card enables even bigger pushes. What the combo is if you don't know about it already.
So give us an
do
example.
Your standard Yasuo play, discard 2 after you attack, then you ride in Tenma, and then after you ride the Tenma, that triggers the Takehime, allowing you to summon another copy of Mura that you have on field. So ideally, Tenma, another Yuki or Tenma itself.
Nudo.
Nudo situationally, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very flexible card, and it can help you just really extend harder. As well as, like, you know, the great thing also is, like, if you're going to Shirayuki also, she doesn't hit very hard. She maybe only hits 13.
No, you'll
but
have
now
like
you're able to
12,
maybe turn into
17,
a 5 or a 10k shield.
Definitely. And another, like, this card is so important on that final push. I will use a Wazoo to copy its name to get copy out on the board. It's that important.
Okay.
And other than that, there's not much else to explain, honestly.
Trigger lineup, I guess. Do you think that could ever change from 6 crit and 6 draw?
Honestly,
have you experimented with any other trigger lineup that's worked out differently?
I'd say this is probably the best trigger lineup with running Shirayuki, because you don't need the fronts because Shirayuki is the front. Simple enough.
Have you thought about running like crit sense at all by chance or anything like that?
No, you need the perfect cards in this deck, as well as the draws. That's why you play 2 extra draw triggers. It's very valuable in this deck.
Worst case scenario, you just discard them off the Tenmas, and that's fine too.
Yeah, the 5k, you can just discard this and get another useful card. It's very, very nice.
Okay. I would say in general, you outlasted a lot of people today in general. Today there was a lot of slow tempo, a lot of counterblast locking, a lot of stuff in general. And between you and me, which you and me play round 4, I played no seal.
Yeah, this deck relies at least on 1 or 2 counterblasts for that big push.
However, though, you are an Excel deck at the end of the day. You still can draw a lot of hand, and
so
you can get ready for that big push.
If you have no counterblast, you just hold Nudos and keep poking.
Okay. So, do you have any other words to say about shoutouts or anything nice to say?
Shout out to my boy Jordan.
Your boy?
My boy.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him for a while, but he got back into Vanguard, and it's very, very cool to see him here.
Like, we're good. Is that it? Or?
I mean, we want to talk about the other rounds? I don't know.
No, I mean, is that all? Okay, I just want to check. All right, guys, this is Alex with Yasue, and this is Dylan with Checkmate Vanguard. We will see you all later.
Thanks for watching Checkmate Vanguard. Consider subscribing and liking the video. And look forward to more matches from us.